ESPN's John Buccigross with Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. Hey, Bucci, last night, the referees, it's been quite the conversation today, as you can imagine. Your thoughts on the calls that were missed and what should be done in the NFL to fix from having referee issues and missed calls?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a hard sport to call. It's fast, it's furious. You got to make these calls quickly. You want the game to move along. You don't want too many reviews. We have so many cameras now. We pick up more things. I'm sure the officiating isn't that much different than it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Obviously, the one call was the one that people talk about a lot that kind of stood out. But for the most part, they're making, every play has potentially, 10 to 15 calls. When you have 5, 6 linemen and you have 5 people go out for a pass, there's a lot going on. I don't obsess over refereeing for the most part, especially since we do have video. We can kind of fix some things, especially in scoring situations. We're much better on, is a guy short? Did he touch the goal line? Did his knee hit first? We're much better at that than we've ever been before. And so I don't obsess over it.
Bucci, when you look around the league, the NFC East, obviously an odd division to figure out. Do you still think the Giants can win this thing, or are they going to get mired down and get caught?
Oh yeah, no, I think they're. I would still consider them the favorite. When you figure, the state of Washington and Philadelphia, the Cowboys, they have a few tough games coming up. Obviously, having Tony Romo back changes things. But I don't, I was thinking, could they run the table? I don't think they can run the table. So I still think the Giants are in good position.
ESPN's John Buccigross with Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. Hey, speaking of a team that's in good position, the stinking New York Rangers. God bless America. Last night, beat the Predators 3-0. They have a 9-game home win streak, their longest since 71, 72. This New York Rangers team, your thoughts on how good they can be and if they can, finally capture Lord Stanley this year?
Yeah, 16-3-2, great start after 21 games. And, there are some concerns, though, for them in terms of trying to get, a line situation and certain positions kind of stabilized. They're moving guys around. They're being carried, in some respects, by a historic year by Henrik Lundqvist. Probably be the MVP of the NHL right now. We saw, I don't like when goalies win the MVP. That tells me not enough goals are being scored. Carey Price won it last year. We could have Henrik Lundqvist, who's actually probably having a little bit better year this year than Price had last year. Right now, he's the Vezina MVP guy probably. But that being said, the Rangers still have some, I think, concerns up front. To have guys in certain positions to lock positions down. They would like to kind of get to that point. So in some ways, that's good. It kind of keeps you hungry, keeps you searching, keeps you looking to improve on your team while already accumulating enough points to just about guarantee a playoff spot. That's just about in the bag. When you have an 11-point lead on the first team out this time of year, you're in good shape. And now, of course, the goal is just to win the division and finish with number 1 or number 2 points and then enter the playoffs healthy.
The Rangers, they don't seem to be afraid to make those trades as the season goes on to fill those weaknesses. Is there one out there that, if you were just playing GM for the day, you would go for?
Well, obviously, it's hard to make trades nowadays in all sports, but especially the NHL with the hard salary cap. There's no luxury tax like you have in other sports, and of course, baseball. There's no cap, although there is some sort of luxury tax. So it's hard to make trades in the NHL this time of year. Now, as it goes on, and you get more cap room, it's a little bit easier. And then you have teams perhaps tanking or not tanking, but looking to, all right, we're not going to make the playoffs. Columbus, Carolina, teams like that. Are there veterans on that team? They're looking to move. Columbus might be one of those teams. They have lots of guys some veterans who could, like a Scotty Hartnell. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there. Nothing that the Rangers would definitely go after, or that someone even will be, or has been talked about, or will be. But people like Eric Stahl in Carolina. Some of the guys make tons of money. It's hard to match it up. But there are some teams out there as we go along here, and they're not going to make the playoffs. The math just doesn't add up. That you could possibly pluck a dependable top 6 forward, whether you need a left winger or a right winger, and really get your team ready for that playoff grind.
ESPN's John Buccigross with Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. Watch him 11 o'clock Sports Centers on ESPN. And Bucci, here at 104.5 The Team, we always team up with Labatt Blue. They are our sponsors in our pond hockey tournament that we put on every winter. And you have teamed up with Labatt Blue as well with a sled initiative that you guys have going on.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's a fun, cool little company. And to be involved in anything with hockey is good. And I went up to Buffalo earlier this year, and to hang around those guys and to watch the sport. And these are guys, obviously, whether they're born with an issue or whether they were injured in a car accident or whether they were injured serving our country. There's veterans on this U.S. sled hockey team. It's just it's inspirational, and it's just good hockey. I'm sure they just want to be hockey players, and they're good hockey players. It's a fun sport to watch. It's different. It's interesting, and it was great to meet them in person and watch it in person. And now just to be a part of the growth, because as we know, we want little girls to play the sport, little boys to play the sport, adults, and to have a sport like this, I can't think of any other sport really where you can replicate, the game as well for someone with a severe injury or a handicap. So it's really inspirational to watch, and Labatt really is. Their heart's really in the right place. They're starting sled hockey programs, from scratch and providing equipment and things like that all around the country. So it's really cool.
John Buccigross, a part of the Labatt Blue initiative, having 10 new sled hockey programs across the country. Really cool initiative, really cool plan. Hey, Bucci, I'm looking right now. It looks like LabattUS.com is how we can get more information. Or, do you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And USA Hockey as well. You can go to USA Hockey's website as well. They're, obviously they're a great organization to grow the game in our country at every level, with every, whether it be obviously the national team with NHL players playing the Olympics or our under 18 team or under 17 team, all the national teams that we develop and grow, people like Jack Eichel who are on the national team, players in the NHL who in big top draft picks usually go to the national program, right down to, my kids who play in the local rink, adult leagues. And USA Hockey or Labatt, you'll find some information, great information if someone out there as a child or a friend who they think, hey, maybe they'd like to try sled hockey, because it's a blast to watch and to play for those guys and girls.
Bucci, it looks like you've finally taken pity on me. I have tried forever to win the hashtag Bucci Overtime Challenge. I've never been able to do it. And now I see you actually have a flat-out store at BucciOT.com where I can actually just buy the stuff instead of trying to win it. Yeah,
and I've given all the money away to charity. The last probably 2-3 years, I got the website probably 2 years ago, and the old PayPal thing. So that's when it really kind of took off. And I'm able to write some big checks to whether it's the Travis Roy Foundation, the kid, Travis Roy got paralyzed in his first shift in college hockey. I gave them $7,500, and it's fun to write all these checks to hockey-led or hockey-type initiatives, whether it be sled hockey or whether it be my local rink, Learn to Skate. Give the parents a 50% discount off their Learn to Skate. And it's just fun. So, the stuff at BucciOT.com is just it's fun to play, but if you don't win, you can buy stuff for yourself or others, hats, toques, koozies. We got it all. And this time of year it gets busy, so it's fun to get unique holiday gifts for the hockey fan.
So, are you okay with the fact that even though I try to guess the overtime, the goal and the score, I can never do it? Is it okay if I go buy something, and since it goes to a good cause, I lie and say I won it?
Yes, it is acceptable to lie and say, yes, of course I won.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. I had Viktor Kozlov a few years ago.
Yes.
You say whatever you want. You're good. You're covered.
Perfect. As long as it goes to a
Karma.
good cause.
Hashtag karma.
Yeah.
Yes, Kozlov, always on the tip of my tongue. ESPN's John Buccigross. Watch him at the 11 o'clock Sports Center on ESPN. And Bucci changing the community, changing lives as much as he can. LabattUS.com for more information. At Labatt USA as well. And, of course, at Buccigross on Twitter and BucciOT.com. Booch, always great talking to you, man. We'll do it again soon.
Anytime, boys.